Okay, so we've all gotten used to AI that can answer our questions or, help us write an email. But what if AI could do more than just respond? What if it could actually take action on its own? We're right on the edge of a massive shift in how AI works. We're moving from models that just predict things to a whole new class of software that can do things. So let's dive into this evolution and explore the absolutely fascinating world of AI agents.
Think about how you use most AI today. You ask it something, and it gives you an answer. Then you have to ask it the next thing, and it gives you another answer. It's this constant back and forth. It's powerful for sure, but it's also really passive. It's kind of like having a brilliant dictionary that can't turn its own pages. It needs you, the human, to tell it exactly what to do every single step of the way.
And this is where we see the next leap. We are moving from that passive, predictive model you see on the left to something way more powerful: autonomous agents. And these are not just chatbots. These are proactive systems, and they're designed to achieve complex, multi-step goals completely on their own. They can figure out the next moves without a person having to guide them at every single turn. So, how do we get from that simple assistant to a powerful agent? Well, it's really a natural evolution. Just think of it as taking the language models we already have and giving them the ability to reason, to plan, and to act to achieve a specific goal. To really get our heads around how these agents work, I'm going to share a simple, but I think a really powerful analogy. We can break down any AI agent into three core parts: a brain, a pair of hands, and a nervous system. Trust me, this analogy makes the whole idea so much easier to grasp. First up is the brain. This is the core language model, something like Google's Gemini. This is the central reasoning engine. It's the part that processes information, weighs the options, makes plans, and decides what to do next. It's basically doing all of the thinking. But, a brain without any way to interact with the world is pretty limited, right? That's where the hands come in. These are the tools, things like APIs, code functions, or databases that connect the agent's thinking to the real world. This is what lets an agent go from just thinking about something to actually doing it. Okay, so how do you connect the brain and the hands? Well, that's where the nervous system comes into play. It's the orchestration layer. You can think of it like the conductor of an orchestra. It's this governing process that runs the whole show. It manages the agent's operational loop, its memory, and it decides, okay, now it's time to think versus now it's time to use a tool. It is the crucial link that makes the whole thing work together. So we've got the brain, the hands, and the nervous system. But how does an agent actually think its way through a problem from start to finish? Well, it all comes down to a really simple, repeatable problem-solving loop. At its very core, an agent runs on a continuous cycle that you can break down into 5 basic steps. It's just a constant loop of thinking, then acting, then observing, over and over until its mission is complete. Let's walk through this playbook with a super simple example. Imagine you ask an agent, hey, where's my order? Okay, first, it gets the mission. Then it scans the scene. What tools does it have? What's the order number? Next, it thinks it through. Okay, to track a package, I need to find the order in our database, then use that tracking number with the carrier's API. Then it takes action by calling that database tool. Finally, it observes the results, it got the tracking number, and it iterates, moving right on to the next step in its plan. This whole think, act, observe cycle just keeps going until the goal is achieved. So the really crucial point here is that an agent's true power isn't just its raw intelligence, but its skill at managing information. Like this quote says, it's a master of context window curation. What on earth does that mean? Well, it means the agent is constantly pulling together just the right facts, just the right history, and just the right tool results to feed its brain for whatever the very next step is. This is what lets it solve new and complex problems. Okay, so now that we know how an agent works, let's talk about what they can do. Because, not all agents are created equal. We can actually classify them into different levels based on their escalating power and autonomy. This pyramid here shows the different classes of agents. Each level builds right on top of the capabilities of the last, taking us on this journey from a really basic reasoning system all the way to a system that can evolve all by itself. So let's start at the bottom. Level 0 is just the brain in isolation. It's just the language model itself. It has a ton of pre-trained knowledge, but it's totally disconnected from the real world. So it can tell you the rules of baseball, no problem, but if you ask for the score of last night's game,
It has absolutely no idea. At level 1, we give the brain its hands. We connect it to a tool, like a search API. So now, when you ask about the game, the agent can recognize it needs real-time info, use its search tool to find the score, and give you the right answer. It's now a connected problem solver.
Level 2 is where things start to get really interesting. The agent becomes a strategic problem solver, and it's capable of planning these complex, multi-part goals. So if you ask it to find a good coffee shop halfway between two addresses, it won't just do a simple search. No, it's going to create a whole plan. First, find the midpoint using a maps tool, and then use that location to search for highly rated coffee shops nearby. Now at level 3, the whole paradigm shifts from a single agent to a team of specialists. Imagine a project manager agent that's been tasked with launching a new product. It doesn't try to do all the work itself. Instead, it delegates tasks to specialized agents, one for market research, another for writing marketing copy, and a third for web development. This division of labor is absolutely key because it lets each agent focus on what it does best, which leads to a much more efficient and effective outcome. At the very frontier, we have level 4. This is a system that can literally identify a gap in its own capabilities and then create a new tool or even a whole new agent to fill it. For example, if a level 4 system is asked to analyze financial data, but realizes it doesn't have a tool for sentiment analysis, it could just create one on the fly. It's a system that doesn't just use its resources, it actively expands them. It becomes a truly learning and evolving organization. So where is all of this heading? The most important takeaway from this whole journey is that the future of advanced AI is not about building one single, all-powerful super agent. It is all about collaboration. The crucial idea here is a big shift in our thinking. Instead of trying to build one super agent that can do everything, the future is about creating a team of focused, specialized agents that all work together. This is what's going to let us automate entire complex business workflows from start to finish. It's a model that actually mirrors a human organization, and it's just far more efficient and scalable. And this is not just a theory. Take a look at this real-world example of a level 3 system, the Google Co-Scientist. As this diagram shows, it's a multi-agent system that acts as a virtual research collaborator. A human scientist sets a goal, and a team of agents, one for generation, one for reflection, one for evolution, they all work together to explore ideas and generate new hypotheses. It's dramatically accelerating the pace of scientific discovery. And this brings us to a final, really powerful thought. We're moving from just using AI as a tool to actually working with it as a partner. So the question we're left with is this: if these autonomous, collaborative teams of agents become our new partners, what truly massive problems will we be able to solve next?